Okay, so this is pretty cool. I really like this guy. I like his adventure run, but I think it was time for me to switch out. I mean, I can always still run it, but it's not what I was looking for right now. I was looking to play around with this Google feature, Gemini. Excuse me. But yeah, I got that adventure going, and I wanted to start a new one. So I got my background story, and I had to do that from here because what I did was I took this guy and I broke down his features. I said, "What can you see? Describe him for me." And then I said, "Can you draw me a picture of him?" And that's not bad. That's pretty close. I'll take that, especially if I'm running with uh, that type of symmetry, which is pretty close. Um, Gets a little younger as we're going through. I actually have to recalibrate him. This one here is a little realistic, but it still fits the montage. I put this in here because I wanted to give it a try. I thought that was a fun picture for it to come out with. So I asked it to describe the map so that way I can understand the land features. And I did some programming testing with it earlier, like to get me from the merchant's path to Oakwood. How would you take it? And to see if it knows the roads. And it does. It can recognize those features. It knows that this is more woodsy, but it has a little bit of a problem drawing the walk to the path between these two things. It knows the features, but sometimes it just doesn't quite get it. So again, I'm practicing all my skills here and really getting them out, making sure I get the version of it I like, or just playing with it from here. I'm just trying my best to keep him in mind right now. I haven't built anything else. Okay, so now I'm just building some backstory stuff with it. Um, so eventually I get it close. And then I come over here when I program that, I allowed it to auto AI, so it built into my background story a little bit more in depth. So I had to read. You have to read all this to make sure that you get where you're going. And apparently, I'm learning my draconic backgrounds. I might be the Jesus baby in this one by its depiction in here because they don't know where my dragon scales came from, and it happened to be this ancient, powerful deity in here. Mom and Dad, Mom has no clue where this comes from. Dad's dumbfounded, but anyways, I thought that was a fun little note for it. But it gets this in here, and now this actually kept it really clean too. I don't have like a mystic spirit that I'm going for. I do have to kind of find out my dragon's heritage. So not having a big baddie on here kind of helps too. I don't have to chase that around, I'm hoping, in the early phases of this, and I can just build into the town building. I know Tea Leaf by the Dungeons and Dragons storyline isn't much to go with, but neither was the town I was doing before. So as long as I get a warehouse or something I can get a hold of, get some small clerical work done or something like that. But really quickly, I'll get to the town square once all this is, I don't have a choice. This is just going to auto pump this first one out for me. You probably could use 2.5 if you wanted to, just to stay with it. But I'll be playing around with this, and I kind of want to make it a little bit more spicier because I still want to be engaged with this. I want to have more contact with women. I want a flirtatious thing that seems more realistic. I don't know if 79 is going to give that to me, and I'm not willing to cross it out when I already have something that's working. Not that I'm into not that I'm not into the old cowboy western books. They get a little risky. That's just so nice. Get it right. But so what I did is I come over here and I managed, this is out of what it gave me when I used the person's description and the backstory I used to generate it, and it gave me, yeah, this guy up here. They gave me, this is what Pump Out gave me, which I thought was a fantastic art for it. This will do fine. And so I began that on this. Now, firstly, I clipped it out so I had just it because I was having a hard time with it a little bit. So then I come down here and I described it. I make sure it has its characteristics, and I say, draw me another one. And they're pretty different, but that's close enough for me. And we'll just keep this going, and I like where this is going. I'm just saying, I haven't practiced with a bullet full draw now. He's coming in here at the campfire. He's doing some of his, this is the understand languages spell. This is the mage hand spell. This is the mending spell. This is the acid splash. darkness, lightning bolt, fireball, firebolt, detect magic, counter spell, and then I redid poison spray. Poison gas spray is what I did. See, I didn't like this one, just trying to build a regular wall. I was hoping it did it by hand. That's still a little too realistic. But bang, I hit it with that one. That was, just a gem. So now I put in the map, and I wanted to make sure it could describe the features of the map. So that way, if I'm using some town or features here and I'm traveling to that, I'm hoping that'll tighten it up a little bit. So I just threw it in here to be extra good about that. And so I'm starting my quest now, and I'm starting it in Tea Leaf. And I didn't quite like that, so it took me a little bit of hammering this out until I found exactly the one I was looking for. And I think I settled on this one here, which is a very nice picture, so it looks good, about the same size as the DM range I'm looking for. And I had to have him in this, so I just asked it. I need that guy from the third picture from the top here. Be 1, 2, 3. I've been using this campfire one. We're a little too far there. And oh, come on now. I was digging a little bit for that one. And then I wanted to do the story. Now I couldn't quite get the elves, the whole thing to negotiate out. Not to be clean for me to do this video. I mean, I'd love to hammer it out, and I still might, because I have those two options in my story narrative. I have this halfling coming at me with the message Eureka, and that's kind of where the Dragonborn stuff goes as well. Townspeople are looking for you to help because, it does have your skills in there. You grew up in that town or in that area. You've been around. And these elf and halfling that come to town, much like my original story, they came back because I already come out of I come out of Oakwood into Teafield. So trying to keep with that narrative, trying to really pick out something that looks good and stays with my system. And I had a few good options. Don't get me wrong, I think I settled on this one right here. It doesn't quite always work to the background, but what we can do is, I must have picked the other one. I come in here and I wanted to lay this out, and as we build this story, I can come through. Now, I've done this with sheets, and that's really fun too. I got the other ones over here in case this is news to you. And this is a fun way to play this, especially this way in particular, because I'll be a little bit more like this right now. We are actually just pounding out one of the details to the story, but now I'm hoping to stay a little bit more in tune instead of a bunch of different backgrounds, right? Because that's still a little out from each other, but pretty good. That's really cool. That's, you're trying to work on your monstrosities, spiders. That snare was so freaking hard, you wouldn't even believe. But yeah, you can have a lot of fun with that stuff. What else we got in here? You're stealing other stuff off, regular internet stuff. I forget. I think that was Lord of the Rings, but I'm not sure which one it is. Playing around with it. Clan Death too. Of after I killed the monster. Oh yeah, you gotta have a lot of fun with this stuff. Working with AI. Let's come back with another one. I'm just giving you some insights here. This is not a full fleshed out idea. It's just some of the ways I play it. Now, on this one, I was saving names, and I needed this part or something like that because it was part of a mission. Because I'm still working in it, to have those names, you're going to be going a lot of them. I probably missed a lot of them. This was a long campaign inside here. And then, I'm saving something else I was doing as far as a chart, and I want to make sure I have that for later. So, yeah, that was my note on this. Having some fun. Catch you in the next one.